Your quitting addiction is very possible. It is just a matter of time and finding the right person and the right resources to help you quit addiction. Once again, I welcome you to the program Wounds of the Heart, where we here to help you heal anything that have been caused by emotional issues, traumatic issues, psychological issues, addiction issues, and every issue that you may be wondering about. And here on this program, I bring experts, those people who are qualified to talk to us, to help us being able to go through whatever has been a problem, whatever has been a wounds of the heart to us as we live. So this evening I've been welcomed into a place that has a name, a place that a lot of people, it has everyone from the top notch to whatever you will call it. I'm right here in the city, Adabraka, that is what I'm going to put it. And those of us who know Adabraka, you know Adabraka has everything. So I'm not going to say much about it. But I'm here at a place called Rhema, Ghana. But before then, I would like to appreciate my viewer, you out there, who is always making it possible for this program to be a success. I say God bless you. God bless you for sharing. God bless you for watching this program every blessed day. And God bless you for your comments and for your contributions to make this program a success. If you want to join in the conversation, the contact is 0559 680066. 0559 680066. WhatsApp, you can just send us your message or your contribution or your question. And also we are live on Hope TV GH Facebook and also on YouTube. So please, you can kindly subscribe to our channels, like our page, and share to friends and loved ones who would need to be educated, who would need to know much about whatever is happening. So for us, all the topics that we treat here is concerned. As I said, I have Alpha Art who always put us on the flyer, and I also have Unilens GH. He's a camera guy. So if you need any of these services, just go on their Facebook page, Alpha Art Ghana, Alpha Art, or Unilens GH, and you just talk to them and they respond to you. As I said, I'm here in Adabraka, a facility called Rhema Ghana. I have been welcomed by somebody who is about to introduce himself. Today is my journey and my recovery journey of addiction. Once again, let me introduce and welcome to you the house owner, the landlord of this place, Mr. Loko. Mr. Loko, good evening and welcome to Wounds of the Heart.
Good evening, and I want to greet the viewers out there, Hope TV, and to this awesome program, Wounds of the Heart. I feel honored and favored to be on such a prestigious program, which I believe addresses the innate issues that people have to deal with when it comes to emotional issues, things that are not maybe medically or scientifically treated easily, but things which people battle with a lot. And I believe one of these issues is addiction, which is pervasive across the structure of society. Anyway, once again, my name is Mr. Christian Lion Loko.
Mr. Christian Lion.
Yeah.
No, wait. The lion was given to you
by my dad,
Whoa.
Who happened to be the director of Social Welfare Ghana.
Okay.
So, Loko Osu. And my mom also introduced family planning into this country.
Oh, okay.
So she's Mrs.
Then Mr. Christian, you're not a small boy, you're not a joke.
So she's also Mrs. Blackbell Loko, both of blessed memory.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so I am the director of Rhema Adabraka, which is a subsidiary of Rhema Ghana. Okay. Rhema Ghana is essentially an international charitable organization, and Rhema is an acronym representing rehabilitation of the marginalized.
Rehabilitation of the marginalized.
Okay. It is a rehabilitation facility institution which started off in Spain by one Miguel Diaz Alvarez way back in 1982, and the wife Marie Carmen. And it came to Ghana somewhere in 1994. And currently, we're in over 70 countries worldwide. So there is Rhema in Ukraine, there's Rhema in Russia, there's Rhema in America, England, France, Australia.
70 countries that you've gone far.
Yes, and all of West Africa there's Rhema.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So what rehabilitation to what? To those with addictive behavior, or to those with what
Yes, so primarily Rhema is a rehabilitation center that caters to the needs, the demands for rehabilitation, for reform, for cleansing, for those who are addicted to drugs, that's narcotic drugs, hard drugs, alcohol, anything addictive. At the same time, we're home to the homeless, convicts, needy people. So actually we're a voice for the voiceless. And so we help those who are living on the margins of society. And therefore that is the marginalized. Also, we have another department that takes care of orphans and street children. And then yes, recalcitrant children, that's what we call in Kolaboni. So we have that department, and then we have where we also help people to rehabilitate from.
So in Adabraka here, before I enter into our life, in Adabraka here, where we are now, which department is it? Which?
So in Adabraka here, specifically Odorna, very close to the Odorna clinic or hospital. This facility caters for rehabilitants, those who are coming out of addiction. Could be to cocaine, heroin, alcohol, marijuana, all narcotic and psychotic substances.
So thank you. So viewers, you heard Mr. Loco Lion. I love the word. I don't know whether I should call.
You are free because that's what I've known across.
So viewers, as you said, he prefer me to call him Lion for the sake of this interview, and that's what a lot of people know him about. So he's Christian Lion Loco, the in charge of Rhema Ghana Adabraka, to be precise. It's a rehabilitation center for our friends who one way or the other got themselves in addiction and they want to overcome it. So, Mr. Loco, how many years of addiction?
Wow. I believe it was 30 years. It was 30 years plus.
30 years plus. Yes. So how did it start?
Well, then that means I have to go way back into time.
We wanted, so yeah.
An in-depth look into my life as it is. So I was born in 1966, and then I started my primary schooling in Ridge Experimental, Sunyani, somewhere in 1972. I believe that would have been class 1. And then my mom was the regional nursing officer. So we're living in the bungalows at, they call it Russian camp, Russian bungalows. So from there, I gained admission to Legon Presec. In fact, as the second highest in the region. It was common entrance in 1979, just about when Rawlinson School had enveloped the country. And I entered Presec at the age of about 11, 12.
As young as?
Yes, as young as 11, 12. And basically, it was, I believe it was 12. And it was a very awesome experience, because then I had not lived out of home before. Here I was being just jettisoned into a boarding house where my mom wasn't there and all the things I was used to. But luckily my big brother was there. So in Presec 79, I faced life as a young teenager. And by, in fact, when I went to Form 1, I was given Estud Anaba, Reverend Estud Anaba. He was then in lower 6. He was our chaplain prefect, and he was given to me as a mentor. So Form 1, I was even an SU secretary. And so I started life in secondary school as a Krife, as a Christian. So the trajectory that my life later took was a bit astounding and I should say surprising. So Form 2, Form 3, I started getting friends who were not necessarily Christian because I was exceptionally good academically. So I do friends, but the wrong crowd. These were the Dadamas who didn't like to learn a lot. Exactly. But they knew being in my company, I would help them out when it comes to prep, homework, class exercises. And slowly but certainly, I started drifting off. Now, my dad was then the director of social welfare, and he was living in Laboni, in a bungalow, all by himself, because my mom was then stationed in Koforidua. She was the regional nursing officer there. So, Dad used to have his boys' friends who were ambassadors, doctors, CEOs, and they would sit almost every weekend and drink their whiskeys, their beers, and chat. They would a lot of intellectual argument, and I was drawn to this, and they were fascinated at my in-depth analysis and acute perception of issues even at my very tender age. So it made them fond of me. So when they sat and they were drinking, I was drinking as well. And I could drink a bottle of beer or two.
Lion, wait. So if I should deduce what you are saying, yours, it was not you weren't introduced by friends, by peers, but rather daddy colleagues, daddy cliques. They are the ones
exactly. So I would say the nonsense
open the way.
The nonsense, the beginning of my addiction. But just to make one thing clear, addiction is a continuum. It's a fluid phenomenon. For somebody to get addicted, it is an act that they repeatedly push, that crystallizes into a habit, and then finally becomes a defining behavior or a character. So, for instance, if you say somebody is a womanizer, I don't believe you are going to call him a womanizer for the first time. So it's something he has to keep doing continuously and over a period of time. So practically, when I was having those interactions with my dad, I didn't actually take it as the beginnings of addiction. For me, it was normal family social life, because my dad was such an endearing person. He was so fond of me, and he wanted to boast with me and show me off. So it was his way of, showing me love, care, and affection. And I believe he never for once, for a minute, thought he was setting me on the dangerous path of addiction. So, continuing from there, my dad was a chain smoker, cigarettes. He used to smoke about 3 to 5 packets of Rothman skin size a day. It was something I detested because he smoked so that the whole house, from the bedroom to the watch, there was smoke, the smell of cigarettes, which was, could be overwhelming. So I grew up at that age detesting the cigarettes because the odor of cigarette had overwhelmed me at home. But then when I got to Presec, getting to Form 2, Form 3, by then I could realize and deduce that a few of my friends were smoking. I know some smoked cigarettes and some smoked marijuana. I was a bit curious. I am the type where, like you rightly said, I was not set off by peer pressure or by friends. I'm the exploratory one. I'm the one who wants to see things, experience things. So I'm a bit of a curious person and a very strong-willed, self-willed person. So when I got the opportunity, I went out with a few friends in their company whilst they could drink or smoke, and I didn't get involved. But then slowly it was piquing my interest, and I believe, if I am right, it will be Form 3 second term when we're having inter-schools athletics. I'd then been drinking alcohol at home and even in school.
Exactly.
And
school too, you were drinking?
Yes, but then not often. So school, it could be just once, a one-off. If there was a pop chain, a sporting events that we could go to stadium or something, we go somewhere, and then there's I visit a friend's home, and then there is beer or something. So it was just always a one-off. It was not something I could do.
Yeah, it wasn't a habit.
It wasn't a habit. It was just a happenstance. Now, Form 3 second term inter-house athletics. You know, when it gets to that time, school rules are laxed and no classes, and everybody is, seeing Jama, and Presec, we are known for Jama. So I went, I believe, to Medina with a few friends. They got their weed. On the way back, we hid in the school farm. They were smoking. So just to get into the euphoria, the mood, I also took a few puffs. And that day, I was on cloud 9. It was. I can well remember. It was hallucinatory. I felt so good. Everything about the place felt so surreal. It was a beautiful dreamlike state, and the music was reverberating, and I felt invigorated. It was a time. It was a time of Cruise, Ashe, so I was feeling good. And, at that time, I had friends, very good friends from very good backgrounds. Their parents were either ambassadors or ministers, or even there was one whose father was a head of state. So, yeah. So you can imagine.
Yeah,
it was not something which was to be associated with, any negative tendencies. It was just a feel-good, act that we were engaging in, and we thought it was the in thing, the thing to do. So then, from there, that was where I can really relate as the beginning.
The introduction, where your friends from Medina you hit it in the school booth. So with the smoking of marijuana, it was from friends.
It was from friends.
Okay. All right.
It was from friends. Okay. And even with the alcohol, for it to become endemic, so that it to become addictive, it was also from friends.
But the introduction was daddy's colleagues. Oh, exactly.
Yes.
All right.
So then I realized I felt so good. And at the dining hall that evening, I ate with gusto my food, went back, soaked some gari, milk, I was eating. My appetite had become voluminous. And this is, for me, one catchy trait of marijuana that got me attached, attracted, addicted. Because at that point in my life, I was somebody who was nifty and thrifty with my appetite. I couldn't eat much, at a sitting. So when I realized that anytime I took in a little bit of marijuana at the fit chop, it gave me the appetite to, we were not smoking it, but just anytime you get, and the thing about drugs, narcotics, psychotic substances is that when you start, the initial intake gives you an euphoric high. It gives you a very real feel-good state, an euphoric state that you keep chasing after as you keep progressively smoking or drinking. Mm-hmm. When you smoke marijuana, which I should say has the scientific name THC, delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol. Marijuana is called cannabis, and its scientific name is the cannabinol. That yes, it cannot be artificially reproduced in a laboratory setting. That is why we don't have marijuana as tablets.
Exactly.
Or yes,
Okay.
it still has to be the original
the herb,
herb,
the natural.
the natural herb. And that is what makes it the mystic herb. Very unique. And I believe now society knows it has also curative properties.
Exactly.
It has curative properties. It has medicinal properties. And it has social properties. People smoke marijuana to relax, you know, to calm
Is
their
it prescribed?
nerves.
Is it prescribed?
Yes, I believe in the advanced economies, in the advanced countries, marijuana is now being grown and sold for pharmaceutical purposes. But then recreational purposes, that's what we used it for. And then the abuse of it became the addiction. So marijuana is a unique herb, and it gives you euphoric feelings, euphoria, where everything feels good, everything is nice and suitable, and then also it gives you hallucinatory illusions where you think you are the best man around, everything, and when you are walking, it's like all eyes are on you to pack. You become the cynosure of all eyes in your mind, and you easily also feel that people are hating on you. When you pass by and somebody laughs, you think it's you. They are mocking already. When you see two people talking, you believe they are gossiping about you. And then, so it gives you all those hallucinatory feelings, and at the same time, sometimes depression feelings as well. It can make you feel lonely, feel isolated, feel afraid. And so it's a myriad of experiences that marijuana can open you up to.
So let me ask you, with the first time you blazed, the first time you took it, did a friend who probably wasn't part of the clique, did somebody tell you that, yesterday your behavior was something else?
Okay, so what happened was that since it was inter-houses and there was no formal classes or something, my friends that I was with, we ended up in the dining hall. And I realized, like I said, my appetite was voluminous. So I realized I ate a lot. And my dorm mates and things might have noticed that, hey, today I was eating a lot. But then they could not identify. But I believe that as I kept on slowly but surely smoking day after day, there were those who were realizing. And these are things that people don't like confronting you about easily. Because first of all, if they are not your friends, they wouldn't dare. And if they are your friends too, they believe that, oh, it is school life, it is, you know, a passing right. It is something you are. But with me, I had friends confronting me as time progressed. Let's say when I got to Form 4, because the SU friends, my brothers, I somehow quit SU.
Definitely, but the character definitely
changed. The levels changed, the friends changed, everything changed. Yeah. So they were more worried about me not engaging myself in CRIFE issues and matters and activities. And so slowly I believe they could deduce that I was going off a tangent, a wrong tangent. And my seniors who were CRIFE would call me and try to advise me.
Right. So now we are done with school. Let me put it that we are done. Form 5. Form 5.
Yeah.
Were you able to finish school?
Yes. I told you the grace of God abounds. I am extremely intellectually gifted, and my motto is primus inter pares. That's first or with the first, and I didn't want to be with the first, so for me I had to be always first. Yes. So later I went to sixth form at Opapeman Secondary School for my sixth form, and it was not because I didn't make Presec. I made Presec, but most of my intimate friends were not coming back. So the clique that I had gotten used to, most of them were not coming back to sixth form. So I felt isolated, and I felt that I would be exposed
okay,
because
no one
now,
is with you. Yeah,
yes,
alone.
now I had to create my own lion kingdom all by myself. And by that time, the spotlight, because my behavior and way of life was changing, the spotlight was now on me. That is the authorities.
Exactly.
The headmaster could come looking for me in the dormitory. He'll call me and have a one-on-one chat with me, because I used to be a darling of many people. So when my friends and character attitude changed, it became a border, not only to the student body, but also to the teaching staff.
All right, so viewers out there, we are here at Rhema Ghana, precisely at the Raka here, talking to the lion himself, the man who is in charge of this rehabilitation facility that seeks the welfare of people who are addicted, but yet they want to overcome addiction, any form of addiction, especially with the narcotics and psycho, whatever addiction. But now he is telling us about how it started, and if you still will get to know drinking with the father and smoking with the friends. Now some of the signs of addiction is that they withdraw from the norm, and things they used to do, they change. And now it was seen all around him, and school authorities especially were coming in just to look for him because of his father, because of his status, and because of who he used to be at first, Form 1. I just want you to know that our senior high school students, our children, our friends and loved ones in senior school, our eyes should be on them, because that is the beginning, that's the genesis of every weird or wild things that happens to us. Now he's done with school. Let's take it like that. Now, Mr. Lion, how far did you go with addiction? Yes. And what was this? What really was the I know at the point in time, the tolerance level you started adding it, but since when did you realize that now I'm not doing marijuana again, I'm doing this and that, and how far did you go with addiction?
Okay, so I'm not done with school yet.
Oh, okay. Finish
I actually graduated with the first class in English as the best student in Cape Coast University. So mine was a lifelong journey, an academic journey.
And so from you addicted.
That is it. So just to recapitulate, I think to the viewers out there, we have to be very, very conscious and involved in the lives of our teenage children and teenage youth around us. It is at the nascent ages of 13, 14, even now 12, that children are exposed and become curious. They're experimental. They want to know what it is. Not both for the boys, but for the girls as well. It is good as a dad. You become your children's best friend. As a mom, you become their best friend. Speak to them. Get close to them. Know their friends. Visit their schools, wherever they are. And get into whatever activities they are involved in. Let their teachers tell you how they behave in school. Who are their friends? And then know who even are the families, the parents of their friends, where they live. You should be really, really involved. One of the signs at this stage is that they would withdraw. They become reclusive. They don't want too much eye contact. They would avoid you. Dad will go to work and come. Mom would maybe go out and come, maybe trade or work and come. And then when they should be drawing close to you in the evening, they'll prefer to be in their rooms, always giving excuses, weird excuses to be out, library, going to do this, playing basketball, this. But then you should have your eyes on them. And then you would notice that sometimes they show extreme emotions, anger, or quietness. That's when they are feeling a little depressed. Maybe when they don't have access to whatever they are addicted to. And anger when they feel their rights are being trampled upon. When you say, you cannot go out this evening, you realize they become very angry. You have to be I'm not saying it is a one-off, but you should be, it's a plethora of, actions that you should be very vigilant about and always be their friend. Bring them up in the fear of the Lord.
All right, so, It's becoming interesting. Now, you know, he completed UCC with first class in English.
Yes, an English major, which was not given to me because it was there that I was told at the university that the degree is actually awarded. So on everybody who has completed a recognized university, you would realize that the degree it's this Christian Loco for having finished the prescribed program. So I had a BA honors in English, which was awarded, and a diploma in education concurrently awarded. Okay. Yes, at UCC. Right. So basically, I was given a second class upper.
All right. So well, you heard from the horse's own mouth, but yet he was still in addictive behavior. Yes. That is what I want us to catch. But it wasn't the best from him.
Yes. One of the ramifications was that
no problem.
One of the ramifications was that way back in Presec, I should have read science. My parents, I told you, my mom introduced, and as growing up, I was living in a doctor's village, doctor's bungalow in Koforidua. They had created over 30 bungalows where all the doctors in Koforidua were living with the senior nurses, and were living amongst them. So all my friends, right from secondary school day one, were children of doctors, and everybody knew I was brilliant. So everybody when Presec, you know,
we serve a living
we serve a living God. You know, it is the school. And Presec it was a science college. And so the in thing was to read science. I was quite good. But by Form 3, you know, science students have this thing where they learn a lot into the night, deep into the night, and they learn in groups. They learn in groups, additional maths, physics, chemistry, and biology. So they learn, you know, collectively, and they learn for long periods of hours. Now, I couldn't run with this because those were the times when I needed to be with my friends, breaking bounds, going to Medina, on the pretext of going to buy wache or kenke or something, just to go and get some weed to smoke, alcohol to drink, go and watch cinema, because after you smoke or you drink, you need to wind down. So we watch cine, and then you come back when almost everybody is asleep, and then you sleep. So it took me off
the right course of education where you wanted to be because of addiction. You couldn't be.
Now my sole recourse was that being academically gifted, I was an avid reader, and the humanities, the liberals, the reading subjects, they came so easy to me because even after I was high, I could lie in bed and read for 3, 4, 5 hours. So then I sought solace in the arts, So I ended up, you know, offering, for instance, in the university, I offered classics, history, and then English. It was a weird combination, but in the second year, I had a Dean's Award for Academic Excellence, and I had a major in each subject, something that does not happen, usually doesn't.
All right, so he was supposed to be a medical student. He was supposed to be a medical doctor. He was supposed to be a science student, but because of addiction, he veered off into loving art. Please, it is getting hotter here. By the time we return from the break, we're going to delve into how far he went with addiction, to what damage did addiction cause Lion, whether Lion was putting into his cave or whatever. Let us take a pin. Let us wait. As I return from this break, we'll continue our discussion. Please don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
I am an angel of hope.
I'm an angel of hope.
Ubrenio, so do sika a baba boho channel. No, so ya sene. Yet me the mere some akko or man she saw in Choromyana, Wadaroma. fa ahoma yi na fa wo sika fa so bi na also fa bra na yɛnkɔ kanyamsɛm ɛne akra ɛwɔ nkwa star 928 star 34 star 104 hash anase 0249 193083 Hope Channel yes sabrabo Hope Channel ya ji akra no nkwa.
Every individual has a story. Stories of social issues such as infertility.
You did not marry your wife only because she's going to give you a child. You married because you loved her. Whatever comes on your plate, you're ready to accept that.
Abuse, obesity, life struggles, and others can be very frustrating. That is why Real Talk is back again with another exciting season where individuals like you can come into our studio or join us virtually to share your story and experience. To share your story, you can reach us through our WhatsApp number at 0559 680 066, or you can email us at hopetvghana@gmail.com. We say don't lock them away. If you ignore them, they can just get angrier and louder.
Say promo for yes Reni Hope Channel Ghana and yet fear noom what try abubuano pair mitchell o say promo nutafo ezia safodanim nyame adoma ebobo so mene de tosun mienu afin pinu ne aduonu mi ensem ya e wo nutafo ezia safodanim Hope Channel Ghana e de ayeye somsonko e hihye so ye hye fita ne ababe otwuru dia mpoaye oba woni anniversary t-shirt no so ya hye wate nondu pepe penadwumadie no ye de hye so enya samketua se oba pekakrawati fatufutuo mu ne mfa mo Hope Channel asene afin pinu ne aduonu mi ensem ya meche ne fiada ansa na homeda no aba no eye him service sonko kura ye ne kwasa twetwo wura e wo se kromo wo todwom dew ana ehia wo dan no mu e da no eye ne gie nkwa wada no mabra enme no so pepepepepe ne de ahye so Hope Channel fie num afahye eye ne gie nkwa channel yes sabra Hope Channel ye ma enida so.
All right, welcome back to the break. This is Hope Moons of the Heart right here on Hope TV Studios. We are discussing a beautiful life journey of addiction of somebody who was addicted to drugs. Let me put it that way, for about 30 years plus, and now he is still here sharing his experiences, how he started, how far he went with it, and the conclusion. Now, the counsel that he will give to parents and the youth. We are still waiting for that. I want to appreciate Angels of Hope, those Angels on Earth, those who are also helping Hope TV just to go far, especially to have a view on the terrestrial. We pray that we get more people, more angels on Earth to help Hope TV. If you really want to inquire much about it, 0559 680066. 0559-680066. That is for Hope TV. And later on, I'll put, if you really want to help Hope, Wounds of the Heart, I will get back there. But I'm so much interested in the conversation. So let us go back and let us talk to the Lion. So Lion, how far
exactly
did we go with addiction?
So how far? How far is far?
How far is far?
I went all the way down. Because when I came out of the university, I started teaching. And then as a teacher, I got a job as a headmaster. In fact, I started off at Abetifi Secondary School as the English teacher, the new kid on the block. And when I got there, you know, the altitude of Abetifi is about one of the highest the highest towns in Ghana, on the Kwawu Ridge. Yeah. So it was cold. It was cold, and this necessitated that I frequently drank often, and then smoked weed more often. And it was then that I realized that, not knowing, most of the students were also day students. So in my going into town and coming, and even frequenting where the pusher, the seller was, they could realize that no, Sir was into something different. And then there were a few students who were also smoking. So in a short time, it spread like wildfire that said smoke. But you know, students, they would always support a wrong thing. So I became the most loved, the most popular. So say local. When I'm the teacher on duty, you know, they'll be giving me fans. And they realized that even though I was strict and a disciplinarian, I was not cruel. I was humane. And they could appeal to my other side. Oh, say, forgive, say, and then I will surely. So this kept going on. But then, personally, I realized that the alcohol was worrying me because I could drink and wake up so fatigued, you know, the after effects of the hangover. So that getting myself to go for class, maybe early in the morning, became tiresome and difficult. And at that time, my wife had come on the scene. She could visit me there, and she realized that every night I'll go on a drinking binge, and in the morning I'll wake up, you know, very weak and feebled with a hangover. So slowly but surely, I started descending into the abyss of irreversible addiction, the ramifications, the bad consequences, the negative influences of addiction. So then somehow I got out of that school, and then I went to a school where I was a headmaster. Still, I was still abusing drugs, and the children could identify, empathize with that. So my wife and my family became worried. And at that point, it was alcohol and marijuana.
Okay.
So I now came to live with my wife at Adenta. It was then in the late 90s when Adenta was now springing up, you know, a new community growing. So I used to go to Medina a lot to go and buy weed and buy alcohol. And my wife was always complaining. It was at that point that I realized that they were selling cocaine and heroin very close to where I buy the weed. Now, in being too witty, too cunning, so I hope the listeners are paying attention, I thought erroneously that why not? Alcohol has odor. Marijuana has a lot of telltale signs, red eyes, the odor in your mouth. So why not try cocaine and heroin, which was odorless? And the telltale signs were almost difficult to decipher. So I tried it. And the high was superlative. It was the epitome, the apogee of euphoric high, you know, a high induced by the cocaine, high induced by a narcotic or a psychotic substance. So here I was high for the first time with cocaine and heroin. You know, the heroin normally goes with the cocaine. One is in a powdery form and one is in a crystal form. And people either choose to smoke one or either. But I went in for both. And then when I went home, I felt so good. But one thing was that my wife could not pinpoint because there was not much alcohol on me. And my eyes too were quite clear. They were not red. So she was wondering. And so after, you know, playing around, it's not everything that I could recollect. I went to bed, slept soundly, woke up the following day, still feeling high. And then it went on for about 3 days. But after the third day, I realized that I felt sick, general malaise. I felt weak, cold shivers, you know, loss of appetite, you know, as if there was the debut of malaria, you know, and headaches, you know, on and off. Going to the shower too. So by the fourth day, the fifth day, I realized I was not feeling, and that was when my wife was like, "Oh, you are sick, you've gotten malaria, so you need to rest, So she was with me for about those 2 days. Now on the third day, I pretended I was getting better, and because she had been with me for 2 days, she surely needed to go out to the market. So when she left, I just went into a suitcase because I know, normally when I'm lying down, I pretend I'm asleep, but I'm watching her, because when she's going to the market, surely she has to go and pick money. And by then, it was the genesis. It was the beginning. So she didn't have a clue. When I was smoking weed and drinking alcohol, they were not expensive. They were easily affordable. But cocaine and heroin are exorbitantly expensive in very, very minute quantities, very small. Cocaine can come in the form of like sugar, or salt, a pinch, very small, and they can sell it to you for 50. Now I just learned, because I was curious and I asked a few. It's called the hood. So and not to jumpstart, when I got into addiction, it was in Adabraka that I fested in addiction. So we will get there. So it's so expensive. So now I began to pilfer. By being smart, I always took it bit by bit, so that it would escape her as if she had used the money herself. If it was 100, I'll take 10 or 20 and leave the rest. And so I was feeding. But my wife realized that I now had the urge to go out at certain times when there was no need. Because another dangerous aspect of addiction is that when you get into hard drugs, especially cocaine and heroin, the first high that you get is an elusive high. It is something you keep chasing after. They call it chasing the dragon. You always want to get to that high, but you never end up getting to it. So what happens is that if 10 cedis worth of cocaine can make you high as you start, after a while you need 20. The tolerance level builds, so you need 20 cedis to still replicate what 10 cedis could do, and you will not even get it. So now it will get to 10. So this is what the denigrates. This is what destroys addicts. They are always continuously smoking huge amounts and large sums of money just to get a high which keeps eluding them. And so the other side effect, dangerous side effect, is that the amount of money you use today, if it is 100 cedis that you use to smoke, all the days are not equal. Tomorrow you will not have 100 cedis on you, and you might have 20. Now your tolerance level threshold has gone up.
Exactly.
So it cannot suffice, and then you put yourself in a mess. You feel so bad. You cannot concentrate. You cannot focus. So what they do, if you are observant to see, is that they go about picking rubbish. They become human rubbish collectors. They collect baller. They collect plastics. They also pick scraps. And they do all sorts of odd menial jobs, or they stand at the roadside to do circle odor, circle odor, just for the peanuts that they'll get. And then sadly enough, that peanuts ends up, even though it's peanuts, it ends up in fueling the same addiction that they dread so much. The most painful thing about addiction is that every addict you meet or you see out there is not happy, enthused with the addiction they find themselves, but it is an enslavement. It is an enslavement. It is a bondage that they cannot break. They are in there and they cannot come out. So you see, they are weeping souls. They are crying out for help. And what society does is normally to shun them, to isolate them, to neglect them, which is not the best. They are crying out. What they need is a touch of love. In Rima, we go out. We also call it Angels of the Night. And now we do it Angels of the Day. So I heard your angels. We go out thrice times in a week. We used to even do it daily. We cook food, and with water, we go to the ghettos at Tudu, Adabraka, Circle, Achimota, Odoko. We go and distribute food packs to the junkies, the drug addicts. We share the word of God with them. We encourage them. And those who are willing, we pick them right from that state and we bring them into our centers to help them. And this is what society can do, because an addict is also a danger to society.
Exactly. So now, Lion, so cocaine has started. Yeah,
Yes.
you were stealing bit from wifey's
Yes.
money to
Yes.
make up the high
Yeah.
cocaine. Then how did it affect you financially with and your marriage with your kids?
Yes,
How
so
did-
now you can imagine the home became a war zone, and there was no peace, because there was always quarrel, especially with my need to go out and coming back drunk late at night, 12 a.m., 12 p.m., 1, 2, 3 a.m., and then always, you know, having this anger surges. You know, when wifey tries to say, don't do this, do that, I'll just burst into a rage, you know. So it also drove me out of home, because I realized I could not fuel my addiction continuously with my wife's meager resources, which she was using to keep the home. By then, I'd gotten 3 kids, adorable kids that I'll tell you about. So now I started depending on friends. And as I told you earlier, the hubris, the center of narcotic substances, of cocaine and heroin is at Adabraka, Odorna, Sahara. And ironically, it's just about 100 meters away
From where we are.
Whoa. So this is what God has done. So I will end up there, smoke my money away, sell my watch, sell my shoes, sometimes sell
From
my
Adenta,
knives.
you come
Yes.
all this way here.
Yes, because that's where I could get the drugs in good quantity, in good quality, and then in a good ambience. So you end up, you've smoked and you don't have money, maybe even to eat. So you give out something, your belt, your this thing, and that money that was meant to even feed you and maybe transport you back home, I end up using it on drugs. And so I was sleeping on benches.
You left home.
Yes, I was sleeping on benches. I was sleeping in front of people's shops. I anywhere, and Circle, actually the place that got burnt, the filling station, opposite. Yes.
We can't advertise them though. I didn't know that.
Thank you. We can. That is where became my abode of residence. I would, in the night, I'll wait for people to vacate their shops, and I'll look for cardboards, the cartons that they had sold stuff, and then I'll put it on the floor, bare floor, and lie on it. And this is what addiction does and is doing. Most of the addicts, I just met one, the one who told me how expensive the drugs had become, because he had been to Rima and he's returned to the ghetto. And he told me he came all the way from Switzerland.
All right. It's getting interesting. Our time is up. We're going to continue next week. I promise you this, because we haven't gotten anywhere here. We haven't gotten anywhere yet. We're going to continue in God permit next week. And I know that a headmaster who could walk all the way from Adenta, come and sleep in at Dabraka, leave the family there because of cocaine. You should understand what addiction is. Mr. Lion, my time is up. So what we're going to do is that we'll come back next week, right here, the same place, for us to continue with how it took and how you were able to overcome addiction, and how you are here today, that you are inspiration to other people. So a word to my viewers.
So a word to your cherished viewers. I am at a facility which is Rima Ghana. It's a rehabilitation center. We have facilities where we help people to come out of addiction. And it is through this agency that I finally became liberated and free of drugs. So I'm just giving you the contact. The administrator is Mr. Isaac Adu. and his contact number is 0247 439133. 0247 439133. And by the way, I am Christian Lion Loco, and I want to put my contact out there. I believe there are grieving parents. There are homes that are battling this all pervasive menace of addiction. So my number is 0546 529814. 0546 529814. Please, you can contact me on any range of issues, any discussion where I believe I can be of help, especially if it has to do with addiction. And until we meet next time, it's been fun and it's been a privilege and an honor speaking with you. So from the premises of Rima Ghana Adabraka, I say adios. Ciao.
Ciao. Thank you so much. So my viewers, as I promised you, we're going to go and come back. And I bet you, this is a story that we can't let it while away. We can't sweep it under the carpet. Let us share the link. Let us share the link for our friends, our loved ones, our parents, and our teachers. Mind you, a headmaster who was addicted to cocaine and heroin. I just want you to put this one in mind. When we come back next week, headmaster was going to tell us how he was able to overcome after he's done telling us the far he went with addiction. I've been your regular host. And by the way, let me thank Angels on Earth, Hope TV sponsors. God bless you for that. And we still ask for more. If you want also to sponsor Hope Wounds of the Heart in Hope TV, I'm asking you that the number is 0559 535554. Just WhatsApp, text message, call, and we'll have a chat with you. If you want us to advertise your product, this same number, please call so that we can do that for you. May God bless you. I've been your regular host, and the name is Pastor Dan Abedu Bidiaba. I'm out.